This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I'm here with Matt Larson, and we're going to be talking about virtual investing, virtual flipping, virtual wholesaling, virtual everything, because guess what? We're all locked up in a room somewhere right now with this COVID-19, and if we're not careful, we're all going to gain the COVID-15, if you know what I mean. You know, right in here, because there ain't nothing to do but watch Netflix and stuff our face. But we may have an answer for you. Maybe we can divert your attention from the refrigerator just long enough to flip a house across the country somewhere on your phone or on your computer or a little bit of both. So how you doing today, Matt?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me on.
All right, I'm really excited to talk to you. One is you're one of those real doer guys. You're 14 years in the business, got over 2,000 transactions under your belt. You know, that's clipping along at a good pace in anybody's book. Now, we both know there's a bigger gun somewhere down the street or right around the corner, but don't worry about that guy. Just keep your head down and keep trying to improve your numbers every month, you know, or every year. You know, that's all I ever did.
100%.
So I got to pay homage here to the guy who pays the bills, the company, taxfreefuture.com. Please go to taxfreefuture.com. If you do not have a tax-deferred or tax-free retirement account in which you can grow your retirement funds or your finances tax-free or tax-deferred, you have no idea the size of the tool you are missing in your toolbox. This is a gigantic tool. Taxfreefuture.com. Go there because you will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. We're going to tell you what they're not telling you, and we're going to tell you what to do about it. And then it's all in your hands. You do whatever you want to do. Be sure to watch the little 37 video vignettes there that turn you on to what's possible when you have a tax-deferred account or tax-free account for that matter. Taxfreefuture.com. All right. Paid the bills there, Matt. So tell us a little bit about your background real quick, and then we're going to jump into virtual wholesaling, or is it wholesaling or retailing or what?
Business. Yeah, virtual business, just running your business virtually. A little bit about me. I've been, like you mentioned, I've been in real estate for 14 plus years. Started in 2005, late 2005, and was just a machine shop worker before I got into real estate. Saw an infomercial, bought a book, got started.
Started from nothing. I'm just curious. Do you remember who it was? Because I remember mine.
Yeah, Dean Graziosi.
Carlton Sheets.
Okay. Yep. There you go. So I buy this book and had no experience, had $700 total in my bank account, had a lot of credit card debt. And, but I'm a driven guy. You know, I've always been a hard worker, and I put my mind to something and I stick with it till I figure it out. And did my first deal within about 30 days and kept doing deal after deal after deal. And this is in 2005. The market was very, very hot back then. And put together within the first 3 years, I had put together about 31 deals total, and I had about $5,000 a month in passive total cash flow after all expenses were paid. And then we hit 2008, left my job and went full-time into real estate, saw the opportunity. Not much different than some of the stuff we're seeing right now. And went full-time and then just exploded. And over the next 4 or 5 years, I had built my portfolio up to 450 houses and was buying a lot, selling a lot, holding a lot. And it's been kind of a wild ride ever since.
So you have very affordable houses where you're at. You're in Wisconsin,
yep.
You said?
Iowa. Yes, Iowa.
I'm sorry.
Yep. The average house, the typical starter home price range is, $125,000, $135,000 houses. I'm buying the houses that I buy. I'm buying them for, $30,000, $35,000. We typically will put, another $35,000 or so into them. And then at that point I could keep it and rent it out. I can sell it. And some of those I wholesale. Typically, if we wholesale them, we make between $5,000 and $10,000 on those type of houses. And that's kind of my bread and butter. And that's what my portfolio's got a lot in it. And those houses that I buy for 35,000 that I put 35 into, those rent for, $1,000 a month. So good cash flow, strong market, and really like the area. This is where I grew up.
So I like to say I'm in the same kind of price range, more or less, here in San Antonio. It's probably the last bastion of affordable houses, these pockets that we're in, because some places in the country, you say, well, I'm buying houses for 35, 40,000. They don't even know what you're talking about. They're like, back up,
I mean, they think that's your down payment.
I like, huh?
They think that's your down payment.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you're putting a down payment of 35? I said, no, I'm buying the whole house and remodeling it for 35,000.
Right.
I bought my first 100 houses on credit cards, and because I was buying houses for 24 years ago at $10, $15, $20,000. So you could buy a house, 10 on this card and 10 on this card, and you had the house, and 10 on the other card, you're doing the rehab, and then your owner financing it for $60,000, and then selling the note for 54, or 53 or 50 for that matter. Who cares? Just move on. But I like to say that we deal in Walmart houses for Walmart people, just run of the mill basic living quarters. That doesn't mean we're in slumlords, right? We're not slums. We're not gang infested stuff. A $100,000 house in Los Angeles is in the ghetto. You're having to carry a gun everywhere you go. But there's decent pockets of pride, you know what I mean, right?
Yep, 100%. Yep, you got it. We're in a small community. If you take, it's called the Quad Cities where I'm at. There's Davenport, Iowa. There's Bettendorf, Iowa. Then across the river into Illinois, there's Moline, Illinois, and there's Rock Island, Illinois. And there's a few other cities now. There's no longer just 4, but they call it the Quad Cities, and it's about 450,000 people if you take the whole entire region of all the cities put together. And so small community and low crime, nice areas, and just happens to be really well set up for cheaper houses that rent for really good money and create a lot of cash flow.
So let me ask you, is there a big difference in the laws when you cross the line into Illinois?
So there is some differences. Illinois is more of a tenant friendly state. Iowa is more of a landlord friendly state. But the Quad Cities operates very, very similar because the areas are so close. It does, like if you go to evict somebody in Illinois versus Iowa, it's going to take you maybe a couple extra weeks in Illinois. So the counties within the Quad Cities operate very similar, even though the states are different. It's not, people hear Illinois, they think Chicago. Nothing like that. We don't have the red tape that say Chicago does. We're 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Chicago. But yes, there still are some differences between the two.
So do you have to have two sets of lawyers and everything if you're going back?
Yeah, well, most lawyers are licensed in both states. But yeah, you could potentially if you were working off of, just one side. Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question of personal interest. I do seller financing, and I have to comply with Dodd-Frank and everything. What is your foreclosure process like in Iowa versus Illinois?
Illinois is a much longer process. Iowa's fairly short and very, very quick. I think in Iowa, a foreclosure can be done in about 6 months, where in Illinois, it's probably closer to 18 months total. It just really did. I'll tell you.
That's not even right. 18 months to get rid of someone who can't honor their agreement. I don't even understand that.
That's crazy. And
San Antonio, Texas and Georgia's like 45 days if you hit the timing right, which is usually turns out being 70 to 90. But even at 6 months, if you're not a one-horse pony, one trick pony, you can survive, and do well. But yeah. I guess, but in either case, Illinois or Iowa, you're just much better to really scrutinize the person before you put them in. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look at everything, because what you really want to know is what their mindset's like. Are they an entitlement person, or are they someone who gets up in the morning and scratches out a living every day and are going to get up whether someone sets the alarm or not.
Yeah, and luckily we are in a nice community with a lot of hardworking folks. We have, so just so you know, John Deere's world headquarters is in the Quad Cities there in Moline. So we have a lot of manufacturing. We have the Rock Island Arsenal, which is the largest armory in the country. We're a manufacturing farming community, but there are some pretty heavily with hospitals. So we've got a nice diverse little community there. But you're right. If somebody's very entitlement, they will use every single thing to their advantage.
We call them sidewalk lawyers. They know more about the law than the lawyers do.
Yes. And we, just Mitch, a good little staff for you. We manage between everything I own and some of the other properties under our management arm. We have almost 1,100 properties here in the Quad Cities. And it's kind of crazy because, yesterday was April 1st, and we were just really trying to see, we spent the last 5-6 weeks really communicating well with all of our tenants and setting expectations, helping where we needed to help. And what's crazy is we collected all the rent on the 1st, more so even than what we normally do. Little bit above that. So we didn't have, we haven't had.
That's amazing because the checks haven't even gone out yet.
I know the stimulus checks won't be out for another 2.5 weeks or so. So we live in a very good area with people that are hardworking, that pay their bills, that are very responsible. So I used to invest in all different. I used to invest in Kansas City, St. Louis, Michigan, the Metro Detroit area, Chicago, Minneapolis, several different areas. And I just came back to the Quad Cities because I could sleep at night. It's like I wasn't worried about the big up and downs with the economy, because during the 2008-09, the Quad Cities top line values only dropped about 7%. And a lot of these other areas dropped a lot higher.
There's something to be said for, staying in the same general market, knowing the rules, becoming more and more educated and more the expert every day in a certain region. When you start going outside your state or even your counties, attitudes change, laws change, expectations change, cultures, culturalities, if that's a word, things are just different, I've done all my properties in and about San Antonio, over 2,000 houses since 96. But I own or finance like 65% of my properties. But so let's talk about virtual business.
Yeah.
What's the first step?
So first of all, let me back up. So I read this book, and everybody knows this book. I read this book in like 2007 or 8, the 4-Hour Work Week. And I got super excited. The one thing I loved about the book was this section on virtual assistants. So I got all excited about virtual assistants. And I just thought it was kind of a neat concept. So I ran out, didn't know what I was doing, hired my first virtual assistant in like 2008, 2009. It went terrible. I didn't really know how to train the virtual assistant. I handed them off a job to do. And that job, I didn't give any step-by-step process. And so at the end of the day, nothing got done. Anything that did get done was wrong. And I thought, my first thought is this virtual assistant thing is a good idea, but it's not feasible. It's not going to work. It's just a cool little novelty that I read in a book. And what I figured out over time was, it's kind of like I use a computer, for example. So you take I'm sitting here on my MacBook Pro here, and I bought this MacBook Pro a year ago, nicest computer laptop that I could buy. I don't know what I spent for, a couple $1,000s. And imagine went out and bought a brand new computer, state of the art, best of the best, and you handed that computer off to a computer programmer, and you said, "Hey, write me a program so that when you hit enter, it does this, this, and this." If the computer programmer takes that brand new state-of-the-art computer, writes a program, hits enter, and the thing crashes and doesn't work after he runs the program. Is it the computer's fault? Was the computer the problem, or was it the programmer? It's the programmer. And I figured out with virtual assistants, they're the laptop, they're the new computer, they're the state-of-the-art equipment. I was a bad programmer. I didn't know how to teach them correctly, and therefore I got a bad result. So I once I figured that out, a few years had went by, and in 2015, I got super, super serious about virtual assistants. But this time I did it right. I literally built systems and processes step by step by step, so that it would very easy connect the dots, follow the process, and you get a consistent result. So I say that story and kind of start with that preface because if they've tried virtual assistants in the past and not had good success, it's probably not the virtual assistant. It's probably you or the system you built that they don't know how to follow because there's too many missing steps. So
I want to chime in and say I have 6 virtual assistants. They've been with me for a long time because they do a great job. They're very loyal. I feel like I know them, although I've never met them personally.
Mm-hmm.
I care about them. I know they care about me. And there's a great favorable exchange between the US dollar and what they cost. And so I'm able to pay less and get higher quality of, I like to call it give a shit. They have a higher quality of give a shit than the same dollar person I could pay here. I mean, I pay someone if I paid someone $10 here, I'm getting the bottom of the barrel, right? Yes. I pay someone $10 there, I'm getting like someone who's managed a pretty big company. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or a hospital floor or something. You know what I mean? Now I don't pay $10, but I just want to set like the parameters. I mean, like that. I think like $5 or $6 an hour is like a $50,000-$60,000 a year job down there. You know what I mean? And
yes.
And I like to use. You're using the Philippines, or where do you use?
Most of mine are Filipino.
Yeah, because mine too. Because my experience was, or my fear, I don't know that it's true or not, but it seemed to me like China and Russia want to steal your idea and run with it. Filipinos take pride in working for a good company that takes care of them.
Yes, they're very loyal. Yes, they want long term.
At the pay scale that they're at compared to U.S., bonuses are easy. You know, a $50 bonus is like, my God. You know, a $150 bonus for Christmas or something is holy cow. Matter of fact, the only thing I ever worried about was that I gave them too much because maybe they just wouldn't come back for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's been times it's like, wow, this guy did a really great job. But, you know, any place else, I'd be embarrassed to send $1,000. You know, I'd have to send more. So I'll send them $1,000, and they're like, no, don't
too much.
Send them $1,000.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So the average wage in the Philippines is per month. Think about this. Per month is $200 to $400. That's what they make in U.S. dollars in a month. So yeah, my typical virtual assistants. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it varies though. If you want them to speak perfect English, even the most perfect English though, they don't quite get the ebb and you can almost 99% of the time pick them off if you're good at it. When you read what they're writing, you can pick them off. So you have to give them the written things to cut and paste mostly if you don't want that. The other thing is a lot of the tasks, right, don't require them to speak to anybody, which is a different little lower pay. But the bottom line is I love my VAs and they've been very loyal, and they have an emerging middle class in the Philippines because they're learning how to work all over the country from the computer, right? Mm-hmm. What I find interesting is they've come accustomed to they have to work all night long because we're open. We have almost completely opposite hours. The first one I got, I was kind of saying, okay, so we have this hour difference. When do you need to work? They just said, Mr. Stephen, you tell us when you want to work. That's when we work. When are you open? I said, well, I'm open from these days. They go, that's when I work if that's when you want me. I thought, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, they bend over backwards to, you know, you'll very rarely have a virtual assistant quit. They want to stick it out. They want to do a really good job. They're very, very loyal, just like you said. So I typically will pay mine between $3 and $6 an hour.
Yep.
You're right, 100%. If you've got somebody that speaks really good English, which we do, a little trick that we do is we have them tell us through Facebook Messenger. We have them send or you could do this through Instagram as well. Just, hey, send me a voice message with all your capabilities and skill sets and everything you're good at, and then you get a chance to hear their English.
There's another way to, I can make a suggestion.
Yep.
There's a poem called "English is Hard." It's hard for an American to read. If they can read it,
That's good.
Try that out. Last
Google
but not least, I lost my train of thought. Keep going.
So here's the cool thing. So my top virtual assistant that's been with me since 2015, she makes $10 an hour. Now she's the one that now hires and trains all my new virtual assistants. So if I get up in the morning and I decide I'm going to start I need a new position and we need a new virtual assistant, I don't send anybody on my team to go and hire them and find them. Her name's Daisy. Daisy goes out, she interviews them, she trains them, hires them, and decides what we're going to pay. And we give her parameters and all that, but so now it's totally automated where, I don't communicate with I typically just communicate with Daisy is about the only virtual assistant I will communicate with. On occasion, it might be somebody else, but we just have the virtual assistants hire the new virtual assistants. Pretty awesome. So we've got 7 full-time virtual assistants now, and I have a rule. So here's the cool part. Here's the world that we live in now, especially since all this COVID-19 stuff has happened. The world's changed. I mean, we're in a shelter in place right now, and a lot of these companies that have not gone virtual, they're out of business. They're not doing anything. They're done. The cool thing is, guys like me and you, we've been doing virtual business for a really long time. So it was no big deal for me to switch. I haven't gone into my office since last year is when I typically will stop into my office once every 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm there for maybe half an hour. I walk around the place. I talk to a couple people, and then I leave. So I work from home anyway. I typically just I've stepped away from the business. The business operates without me. I flip about 20 plus houses a month, and my real estate business, the company that flips 20 houses a month, I have less than 5 hours a week involvement. No BS, no exaggeration. Not what a lot of people, these guys are saying they do. We have legit, the company runs without me. I'm just managing the top level KPIs. So when all of this stuff happened with the shelter in place, we were already operating that way anyway. We have computers set up. I have my virtual assistants log into computers within my office. I actually have one sitting behind me as well. So my virtual assistants will log into computers that are laptops that are set up in my office, in my house, and they'll work from that laptop. That way they have a local IP address. It's kind of neat. You can just walk by, see what they're working on. And so for us to operate from home, for most of my employees already work from a distance, unless they have to be in the office and it's a boots on the ground position. We're a virtual company. So it's pretty neat. It used to be, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, having virtual assistants was a cool novelty. It was a cool thing to say you're doing. It was a cool way to save a few bucks. Now, fast forward 3 months to where we're at today, it's a requirement. Business is never going to it's never going back to the way it used to be. I think some of it will return, but these companies, think about the advantages of working virtually if you're a big company. One is you don't have any office drama. So, think about all the office drama that you have, people wasting time chit-chatting and BSing. You'll never have if everybody works virtually, you'll never have, any of the sexual harassment stuff going on. Nobody ever comes in contact with each other. So there's a lot of benefits to working virtually.
You also don't have unemployment. You don't have you know, because you can let these people go at any time.
Yep.
There's no, I don't know.
There's no recourse against you. You can let them go tomorrow for no reason. You just say, well, your position's in. If you fire somebody nowadays, you have to go through. I mean, I have a HR person in my company. I never would have thought that I'd have to have HR, but you can't even let anybody go if they're an American worker without following a specific procedure. Otherwise, you could end up in court. So all that stuff is eliminated. You know, when all of this stuff happened with you know, COVID-19, all these companies were laying people off. They're laying off, you know, people in their own community. You know, we didn't have to lay people off. They're already working. They're already in a shelter in place. They're already quarantined because they work from home. So that's the amazing piece of working with virtual assistants. They were unaffected. They're you know, they could see it on the news. They knew there was a problem, but hey, I'm already working from home. It doesn't matter. My job goes on. So, so it just so happened that as I built out from 2015 to now and built my company in as a virtual business, it really just worked out that everything that's happened with this COVID-19 just worked to our advantage. So, so I'm just real big on the whole virtual business thing anyway. I believe in, you know, most people get into real estate and they do it for two reasons. One, they want to make more money. And two, they want to get their time back. Most everybody gets one of those right if they do a good job with real estate, but typically almost nobody gets both of them right. And that they end up working, they leave a job where they're working 40 to 50 hours a week to get into another job where they might make more money. Given enough time, they make more money than their old job, but now they're working 80 hours a week. I just wanted to build my lifestyle around building systems, leveraging people, and being able to do what I want when I want. I'm definitely not an office type guy. I really don't like my employees to feel like they're, you know, chained to a desk either. So I've always built that flexibility. And if you hire people and follow the right processes, it's not hard to put together.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a whole course on doing business virtually. And I want to send everybody to reinvestorsummit.com/Matt L. That's MATT and the letter L as in Larson. LARSON, just for the record. So Matt L is the keyword. And tell us a little bit about what that offers. You were talking about it before the podcast, and it seems like it's very robust.
So check this out. So what I did was I'm a big education guy. I love learning. Okay. I get up in the morning. I want to learn something new. That's how we stay ahead. And a few months ago, a couple things that happened. One is by October of last year, I was already out of my business. I wasn't operating in my business any longer. 5 hours a week is all it really took for my company to flip 20 plus houses a month. And it didn't need my involvement. So I started getting bored. That was one issue. Secondly, I was trying to learn. I love the virtual assistant thing, and we were going deeper and deeper into that all the time. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to search for education on how to improve my own virtual business. And I searched, and I bought books, and I bought, you know, anything I could get my hands on. I started reading it. There was no substance to anything. And I would be like, this is fluff. Like, I read this book and it tells me why virtual business is a good idea and why virtual assistants are cool and a good idea to do it. But it didn't give me anything I could use. So I started thinking, I'm like, man, the stuff that we've already built for my company, it's better than any of this stuff. So I just simply I've got a really hard copy sitting in front of me right here. I sell it as an e-book, an e-course. But I took the stuff we already built. I didn't create a product to create a product. I just took something we already had that we were using to train our own team, to train our own virtual assistants anyway, and I just put a cover on it. And so what I call this my virtually unemployed system. And it's basically, it basically teaches you how to teach virtual assistants to take over your business so that you don't have to do the grind every single day. I really like telling people you need to stop the hustle. The big thing you always hear right now is hustle, hustle, hustle. listen, you can get, like you just said, Mitch, you can get these virtual assistants for $3 to $6 an hour. And I mean, if you take my system, you could literally, you literally take this. There's no fluff in this stuff. This is a process after process after process. You need to add more buyers to your list. You simply hand off the section on how to find buyers to your virtual assistant and let them do the work. You need to do transaction coordination. You need utilities turned on. You need Craigslist ads posted, Facebook. I mean, all of it's in here step by step. Again, it's all about the process. If you hand a bad process or a system that's missing steps to a virtual assistant, you'll never get a good system back. It won't be right. So we just put this together and basically took the systems we had already built, packaged them up, and it's the feedback I've gotten is unbelievable. People are like, they're blown away. There's nothing like it.
So I have a question and a comment. So do you talk about how to set up the computer system and everything so that you don't get shut down because, the powers that be don't like Filipinos posting for you or doing anything anywhere? It has to look like they're in the United States or they shut you down.
Yep, Mitch, on page 29, I have a step-by-step process you follow. It teaches you how to set up TeamViewer, how to set up the process, how to have them log right in, how to connect your virtual assistant to your computer. It's
not simple if you have to figure it out from scratch.
No.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And we figured it out using some special equipment, but I don't know. I'd like to see how yours works, but we got around it by using some special equipment, but maybe there's a different way or a better way. But I'm telling you, we tried a lot of things that didn't work, and it was a pain in the ass. I mean, literally. So that's the whole point of getting a course or hiring a mentor or whatever. It's just cut through the crap and get to work, and for a lot of people, if there's too many roadblocks in a row, they'll just shut down. So the difference between me having a multi-million-dollar career over the last 24 years, and I mean multi, I almost got to the end of my rope and I almost didn't make it because I almost didn't hire that mentor till I walked away from real estate 100%. I was on my way out. Actually, I was trying to figure out how to get out of it when I hired them. I wanted to keep my good name, and I need to figure out how to get the hell out of this real estate business. And he showed me how to stay in.
Wow, that's awesome.
So you think realtors or mentors or courses like this are a little bit expensive or more than you want to spend? What if it cost you a career that would have been worth millions because you just ran out of gas before you got to the money making part, right?
I see it all the time. And I'm a very big detail guy. I'm really into a detail. So when we create something, we use I don't know if you've ever used suiteprocess.com. It's just a very cool website you can use to piece together really cool systems with screenshots. I'm very big on screenshots and visuals, and that's how I teach because I want to. Reading it's one thing, but following
you want to show them how you do it. You click here, you open up this, you go over here, you click there, and it's all tailor-made. I mean, you're going to have to figure out some of this stuff for your own courthouse, right? Because every courthoursuite is going to be different in the computers and the websites. But just getting set up to do it. So you guys, you want to learn more about that, go to REInvestorSummit.com/Matt. That's MATT, and then L as in Larson. L as in Larson. So go to REInvestorSummit.com/Matt L and check out the virtually unemployed. Now, I want to make this clear. We're April 2020, early April. Okay. Right now, he's offering this course for
it's $499.
$499. But this man has the right to change his price, discontinue his price, up his price, slash it in half, or whatever he wants to do. But as of this minute, it's $499, okay? And if you'll go over there to REInvestorSummit.com/Matt L, MATTL, you can see that. Do you have any free giveaways or anything so we can get people to learn more about you or something like that? You have something you can give away?
Yes, you know what? I'll send you. I got a cool. I just along these lines. I got this cool thing that we created that teaches you how to sign a document anywhere without paying for any DocuSign or HelloSign or anything. I'll have my team send that over to you, Mitch. It's just a cool little step-by-step process on how you could be on your phone. You could be on a trip across the country. You need a document signed. You don't have to print out anything. You can sign it on the fly. That's what we call it, how to sign on the fly. I'll give that away. I'll send it to you. You can give it to your listeners, and we'll get you all set up with that. And I think that'll be a good cool little thing for these guys to see.
Okay, sign on the fly. You're going to get a free little documentation on how to set yourself up so you can sign on the fly, or someone else can sign on the fly while they're gone and get things done. That's a really, really, really good giveaway. I want to thank you in advance from our listeners for doing that.
Sure.
I forgot to ask you about that before, but you're pretty damn quick, Matt. You don't miss anything, do you? You got it all covered.
I've been around a while.
Do you ever get to San Antonio?
I have never been there.
All right. I got a ranch just a little ways outside of town, and if you ever come, I want you to call me, because I think you're a kind of guy I would like to hang out with for a while.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go hunting.
All right. So, man, I could talk to you all day long. I'm sure you could talk about this subject for a month straight and it would blow the hell out of your 5-day work week. But, yeah. But you're saying that 4-day work week is the thing that inspired you.
Yeah, the 4-hour work week is what that book inspired me. Yes.
But it's really kind of full of shit because it's really 5 hours. I'm just kidding.
Yes, I'm at 5 hours. I wish I could get it to 4, but
hey, man, don't split hairs. It's a good thing. Maybe in a 4-hour work week you only make like this much money, but the 5-hour work week you can make like twice as much. So,
you got it.
So it's all relative. But hey, it doesn't matter though, and that's what I tell people: don't split hairs. Morph it, make it yours. Maybe it's a little bluish green instead of reddish yellow or whatever, but just make it yours. You know what I mean? And figure out where it fits for you. And one thing about my podcast, just so you know, I don't care who they hire for a deal. I mean, I coach, I have my hat in the ring, but it doesn't matter if I'm not connecting for you, or I'm not in the right market, or this guy's right in your market and you feel more comfortable with the guy in your market. Whatever works. All I'm here to do is to try to help people get control of their life and their finances and their time, just like what you said at the beginning of the show. And I don't care how you do it. I even had a show on the other day on Amazon Prime, Amazon reselling to make money, because maybe you got into this, or maybe you're listening to me and maybe you're going to figure out, or you're starting to figure out that real estate's just not for you. Maybe it's just not for you. I don't care what you do, real estate or resale, but when I see interesting products, and the reason why I brought that one on, it was virtual. And we were at a time, and it was pretty fast to get started. And I thought, well, people are going to have 30 days off here, so maybe they want to learn a new skill while they're sitting on their duff. You know, the smart ones will take their time to get educated, so that the next time this happens, they don't have to worry about anything. Or maybe they'll never make it to the next time they get furloughed, because they'll be out on their own before it ever happens again, making twice as much.
Now's the time.
The best thing that ever happened to me in my life was becoming gainfully self-employed. The second best thing that ever happened to me in my business life was finally figuring out that I couldn't do it all. I shouldn't do it all. And the goal was not to brag about how many hours I worked or how many deals I did today. It was better off to start trying to figure out how many deals can I get someone else to do, and how many hours can I not work, and let's brag about that. You know what I mean? So
yes,
hats off to you.
Yes, 100%. I'm totally aligned with you there.
Well, okay, so go to audiinvestorsummit.com/Matt, M-A-T-T, and the letter L as in Larson, and check out Virtually Unemployed and learn how to get set up so you can train people to do what you want. And this is probably not even relegated to real estate. I mean, you could probably use 90% or 85% of the stuff that he's selling to help you find assistance for anything. I mean, have an open mind. If you have another business and real estate's just been kind of your side job, maybe you can plug in some of this information to help you accomplish your regular job or your regular business. And then I also want you to go there to get the giveaway that Matt's offering, sign on the fly. And he's going to tell you how to be able to do like DocuSign or all that other stuff, but he's going to how to do it completely free, no cost, and from your phone. So I like that. Man, it's really a pleasure. I could talk to you all day long, but it's already been quite a bit here, so I
love it.
want to wear people out. Maybe we should have you back. We could maybe finish the conversation. We'll have a part B because we just touched the surface, right?
Yeah, no, anytime, Mitch. You know me. I'm up for. I love talking to you. So you just tell me, and we'll do it. Do
you have a podcast?
I don't.
All right. If you ever wanted to do one, call me.
Okay. All right. I'm in.
All right, man. I'd like to thank everybody out there for stopping by to get you some Matt Larson. I want you to go to REInvestorSummit.com/Matt L. I want you to take a look at that virtually unemployed. It's $4.99. The man reserves the right to change his price at any time, but right now that's what it's at, April of 2020. And then also get your free giveaway, sign on the fly. And, I hope you guys are all out there finding your way. I hope everyone's being safe. Let's practice social distancing. I go in and out thinking this stuff is a bunch of bull, and then getting serious again thinking, well, it doesn't hurt just for the next 30 days to just be careful. And I think we'd all be better off if we erred on the side of safety. Hopefully someone's listening to this podcast many months from now because they're all archived. And this turns out to be a much shorter, less devastating thing than some medias would like to tell us it is. But we'll see, huh? And do your part. Please shop locally. Look for the small guy. Try to buy from that guy. You know what I mean? If you're out and about and you have to buy something, try to support your local businesses. All right, my friend. Anything you want to say to the people before we cut out?
Take action now. We don't know how long this window of opportunity is going to be open, so get training and get taking action fast.
You know what I'm doing during this time? I'm using this time to create a massive amount of content and do a massive amount of interviews, and I'm going to finish my 4th book once and for all. Because if they're going to coop me up in a room, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
I even said, if I got COVID-19 and they send me to be quarantined, I will finish the book in record time, if I'm not like face down on a floor somewhere.
I'm with you.
All right, my friends, stay safe, stay well. God bless America. We'll get through this. Let's be a team. Let's work together, and we'll see you. This is Mitch Stephen with the REInvestorSummit.com podcast. We out of here.